Start.
Good morning, what's up guys? My name is J.M.B and today we are doing an interview with Mr. Miller at Merlene Ottey High School. So Mr. Miller, how was your day? How was your morning so far?
Yeah, man, give thanks, Everything going great.
Okay.
Yeah, man, it's good to be here. Good to see students turning up for classes and getting that face-to-face interaction learning going again.
So as a teacher, what do you most often find about the students?
Um, the students at the school are students overall. All right, students overall. The main thing is to get them to discover their true purpose, their true talents, their true ability, and to facilitate that and help them develop into becoming a productive human to society. So that's always one of the biggest challenges, sometimes to get them to discover themselves, find out what they are good at, and also help them to perform at the level that they should in order to reach where you see them or reach the vision that you see. Right, because each student has a potential. Sometimes we see a potential. Teachers always see a potential in students that they don't see. When I was going to school,
but the student doesn't see.
Right. So just like how I would encourage you towards, doing what you are doing now, it's because I see where this can take you in the future. You know what I mean? Once you put your mind to it
and your vision to it and focus on what you want in life, then you can achieve what you need.
Exactly.
So this question is like based on how do you think as students can improve more with the pandemic going on now?
Alright, now you see, one of the best learning is when you are self-taught. Good. So in times like these when a lot of students are still not fully back in school, especially the lower grades, right? The upper school students who are going to do their subjects. So in this time, what I would encourage students to do is to use up the devices you have. Watch videos, Google stuff, and teach yourself, right? So if teacher covers a topic, you go on that device and find a video. There's always a video there that can do additional explanation.
And to that too, even that, some students don't like to study. Some students will say like, for me, I don't study, but I only study like, say next week is the exam, so I study for this week.
So you SWAT.
Yeah.
We call it a SWAT. We say you SWAT for the exam.
Yeah, so basically when you study like review and things over a long period of time, you basically get used to it. But for me, I don't do that. But I do what helps me more. And
yeah, you SWAT. But then the thing is, sometimes when you SWAT something, it is stored in your short-term memory, not your long-term memory. So you SWAT it this week and it is stored in your short-term memory, right? And you remember it for next week, and then sometimes you don't remember it in order, so sometimes you even make some simple mistake because of how you were just trying to store this bulk of information in your short-term memory. Now, if you were gradually every day when you get teacher does a class, you go home and you read over the notes for like 20 minutes or 45 or 30 minutes, right? What that would do, that would stay with you for life. So swatting is not actually learning. You understand? Because you don't store it in your long-term memory. Proper learning is when you store something in your long-term memory, just as how you know that if there's a bicycle, you take it up, you go on it and you start to pedal and you maintain your balance. That is in your long-term memory, so you will never lose it.
Does the pandemic affect you at all?
It has its negative impacts and it also had its positive impacts, right? Negative impact in a sense that some places that you wanted to be at certain times, maybe it wasn't possible, right? And but on the other hand, now what it really did, it really opened a lot of doors for me in many other ways, because some things that I didn't spend time with or spend time on, I was able to do so.
But
You know what I mean?
but
So
as a child, I'm going to school, and for call it say we almost out of school for 1 year. So
2 years.
call it 2 years.
Yeah.
But it's since recently, it's September since we have started face to face, and we know the social distance and the wearing masks and sanitize. So it's like basically it's like an everyday routine. But as a students, I've not seen interact because sometimes student doesn't understand what Google is there, and some people don't like use Google. They like to figure it out on their own. So what is the best way that they can use to figure it out?
Alright, so you have different type of learners, right? You have some learners that are visual, where they have to see, watch something. So Google will work for those. You have some learners that are more auditory, that they listen well, so they would have to listen, right? Then you have some learners that are hands-on, practical learning, right? So they have to actually do some form of demonstration to learn something. So the key thing is about finding out, as a student, find out what type of learning works for you, right? And then you will know the type of field that you will find yourself in a few years from now or even next year. Because if you love practical stuff, doing things hands-on, then you know
But
that
like enjoying yourself.
skills and stuff like that are good for you. You right? So if you like do things hands-on, right? Some form of farming or some type of auto mechanic or some form of building and construction.
I believe
You know,
as a young
something
age,
like that.
I believe as a young age, as a child, parents must sit down with their child, motivate them and not let them go. Not because they're doing bad stuff, motivate them and help them,
And
push them through.
this is the next thing that I would like all students to you see, there's a thing called, you have two type of motivations. You have intrinsic and extrinsic. The most important one is intrinsic. Motivation from inside. Right? You see, motivation from inside, no one can kill that. Nobody can kill it. Nobody can make you get despondent or want to stop, because you are the one motivating yourself. If you are depending on someone out there, it's good when you get support from one close to you.
Everybody needs support, but the thing is, you know,
Inside.
you need, if you don't help yourself, nobody can help you.
So
Some people, if people not seeing you pushing out 100% to them, that means that they're not going to push out 100%
Exactly.
with you. But I often, where I come from, people like uplift one another, because in my community, everybody knows everybody. But the main thing is, people are locked